Morning.
Is that me? Good morning. That's Dad.
Dada.
Dad.
Say good morning.
Good morning.
This is a story no one expected to tell. Not this way. Nah, at this moment. And certainly not with an ending like this. It's about the man known as the Prince of Darkness, the godfather of heavy metal, the unforgettable Ozzy Osbourne. His life was full of chaos, wild adventures, music that shook the world, and a personality larger than life. But even after his passing, the noise around him hasn't gone silent. Something has surfaced about his funeral, and it's left fans shocked and his family divided. The news spread fast. Two of his daughters, Aimee and Kelly Osbourne, were reportedly not invited to his funeral. Not that they skipped it or couldn't attend, sources say they weren't even asked to come. For a family that has lived so much of its life under bright lights, on reality TV, in tabloids, and through public ups and downs, this twist feels different. This isn't a stunt, and it's not for ratings or publicity. It's personal, it's painful, and it's now out in the open. Before anyone jumps to conclusions, it's worth pausing to really think about what this means. This isn't just a story about a funeral. It's about broken relationships, old wounds, and what happens when love and fame collide. It's about the weight of a legacy, the meaning of saying goodbye, and how even a close-knit family can fall apart when the spotlight fades. To understand why Ozzy's daughters were allegedly left out of his final farewell, we need to go back to the beginning of the Osbourne story, long before this sad ending. Ozzy Osbourne's family life was never simple. His wife, Sharon, wasn't just his partner, but also his manager, the strategist behind his career, and often the person holding everything together. Together, they raised 3 children, Aimee, Kelly, and Jack. But from the very start, their paths were different. Aimee, the oldest, wanted nothing to do with fame. When the MTV reality show The Osbournes came along, she refused to take part. She moved out at just 16, choosing privacy and peace over cameras and chaos. That decision, though understandable, created a distance between her and the rest of the family that was never fully repaired. Kelly, on the other hand, ran straight toward the spotlight. Bold, outspoken, and often unpredictable, she matched her parents' energy with her own sharp personality. She went through fashion phases, public controversies, and personal battles, but always seemed fiercely loyal to her family, or at least, that's how it looked on the surface. The truth is, loyalty in the Osbourne family often came with complications. Relationships were messy, and tensions ran deep. While the cameras captured a lot of drama for the show, they didn't show everything. Behind the scenes, Aimee and Kelly's relationship was strained. They were opposites, and they never seemed to find common ground. Sources say they were polite at times, distant at others, and at worst, openly hostile. Ozzy, caught in the middle, often stayed quiet. He had enough to handle his own struggles with addiction, health, and the pressures of fame were already more than most people could carry. Fast forward to recent years, and things only became harder. Ozzy's health began to fail. Parkinson's disease, surgeries, canceled tour, it all took a toll. For fans, it was heartbreaking to see their rock hero growing frail. For his family, it meant facing the reality that time was running out. Friends close to Ozzy say that as his health worsened, he wanted peace. He wanted calm surroundings and familiar faces that brought comfort, not conflict. When the end was near, it was Sharon who reportedly took charge of planning his funeral. She was always the protector, and sources say she was determined to keep things private and respectful. According to one family friend, Sharon set firm rules about who could be around Ozzy during his final days and who would be part of his farewell. She believed his goodbye should be free from drama, and she was willing to make tough choices to ensure that happened. So, when the private guest list for the funeral was quietly shared, 2 names were missing: Aimee and Kelly. That's when whispers turned into headlines. The internet exploded with opinions. Fans were stunned. How could his own daughters be left out? One person wrote online, "This is unbelievable. No child should be banned from their father's funeral." Others, however, defended Sharon. "Funerals are for the living," one fan argued. Maybe there's more to this than we know. And there was. Neither Aimee nor Kelly made public statements after the news broke. No social media posts. No interviews. Nothing. Just silence. But those close to Aimee say the exclusion hurt deeply. She didn't want attention. She wanted closure. She hoped, even after years of distance, to say goodbye in her own way. Kelly's situation was different. Insiders say she was shocked. She believed she would be there, as she always had been during Ozzy's public and private life. But tensions between Kelly and Sharon had reportedly grown in recent years. Power struggles, disagreements, and years of resentment may have finally come to the surface. And what about Ozzy? According to those who knew him best, by the end, he wasn't the one making decisions. Sharon was the gatekeeper, and she was following his wishes as she understood them. One friend shared something haunting. Ozzy once told Sharon, "Don't let them fight over me." Nah, at the end. Maybe that's what this was about, not punishment, but protection. Still, the question lingers. What does it mean for a legacy when your own children can't be there to say goodbye? For fans, it's heartbreaking to think of the wild rock star, who defied the world, now reduced to a quiet farewell, missing some of his closest blood ties. The story forces us to look at the bigger picture. Fame changes families. The spotlight can be exciting, but it also exposes every crack and magnifies every mistake. When the music stops, what's left are people, with all their flaws, grudges, and regrets. Maybe we'll never know exactly what happened. Maybe Aimee and Kelly will never speak publicly about it. Sharon may never confirm or deny the rumors. And Ozzy's memory, no matter how legendary, now carries this shadow. A moment where silence spoke louder than any guitar riff or screaming crowd ever could. But there's something else this story teaches us. Grief is complicated. Family is rarely simple. And funerals reveal truths we often avoid. They show us who's really close, who's truly forgiven, and who's still carrying old wounds. So, if you're reading this, maybe take a moment to think about your own life, the phone calls you haven't made, the arguments you haven't resolved, the forgiveness you've put off. Because in the end, when the music fades and the lights go out, what remains are the people we love and the goodbyes we give them. Ozzy Osbourne was many things: a legend, a madman, a survivor. But at the heart of it, he was a father. Whether he got the farewell he wanted from all his children, we may never truly know. And perhaps that's the saddest part of all. At the end of the day, this story isn't just about a rock legend or a family feud. It's a reminder that fame doesn't protect anyone from pain, and even the closest bonds can break. Maybe we'll never know the full truth, but one thing is clear: goodbyes matter, and silence can speak louder than words. So take a moment today, call someone you care about, forgive where you can, and remember that life is too short for unfinished conversations. What do you think? Was the decision fair or unforgivable? Comment below and subscribe for more untold stories.